I'll do the
Hello
intro.
and welcome to the Cash Furnace. Oh, oh. Hello and welcome to the Cash Furnace. My name is Eric Downs. Together with my co-host Paul Kinzierski, we aim to be your go-to source for daily stock and crypto news. Today is February the 8th, and in today's episode, we are going to be discussing Elon Musk, Tesla, and Bitcoin.
One
We're going to be
topic
discussing,
and the only important one of the day.
yep, and we're going to be talking about the implications for Tesla and the implications for Bitcoin and how they are both amazing. If
I
you like
could
what you
not be
see
more
here,
excited.
I know. Man, if you like what you see here today, do us a favor. Three solids. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notifications bell, share this channel with someone else, and help us help more people make more money.
That's
Paulie, let's
right,
get into it.
baby. I mean, Tesla buying
Yeah, okay, so let's
$1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin as a cash part of their cash reserves now, right?
yep.
So go ahead. You could go into the details a little bit.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because Elon sees this as an investment strategy. He needs to aggressively aggressive the world's biggest projects on his docket right now.
Hmm.
Some of history's biggest projects ever, and they require a lot of funding. They require a hell of
Yep,
a lot of money. And
absolutely.
Elon thinks that Bitcoin is a suitable way to make that money. And I mean, look, if history is any indicator, he's not wrong. And he he basically hedged his own bet today when
Hmm.
when they filed their 10K, which is their SEC financial documents, and they disclose that they have this position of $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. There are so many bubbles, not bubbles, but there's so many thresholds being broken when that happens, and not the least of which is basically corporate investing, because
Yes.
nobody, none of the major, you know, none of the major companies out there are willing to be risky. I mean, let's be honest. They're run by a bunch of rich old white people.
Yep.
Or, I mean, like, I'm not going to generalize about every single company in the United States, but let's face it, a lot of the big guys are likely run by rich old people who got
Yep.
to, built the company and got to where they are by being a specific way, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. They built amazing companies. But for that
Right.
reason, due to their age and the how do I say? My apologies. The stakes, they don't want to risk their company with something that they don't understand. First of all, understand, and they still think is publicly perceived as risky.
Right.
So Elon, the perfect CEO, he's perfectly positioned for this. Comes in and says, "Look, I'm doing the world's coolest shit right now. I need tons of money, and there's a really good way to get it. And not only that, now is a beautiful time to get in because, as we've talked about in so many of our episodes, now there is so much institutional backing that essentially the floor has been lifted. The risk has been, to a degree, much more mitigated than it used to be.
That's
And
absolutely
so
right.
he
Yeah.
says, look, this is a great investment, and there are trillions of dollars behind it. But when he steps across the line as a CEO and says, my company is actually going to invest in this, now
Yep.
every other major company, and clearly every single in the world knows who he is and knows who Tesla is, every other major company is going to say, wow, they're going to reassess their books and say, maybe we should have some Bitcoin,
Yeah.
in our portfolio.
I mean, I don't know if you can overstate how massive this is for the crypto space, for
Yeah,
future of companies
it's
investing.
immense.
It's
Right.
this is going to be the catalyst that brings us to unbelievable new all-time highs for Bitcoin this year. When we were
Yep.
saying we've talked about it on the podcast before, how conservative estimates had Bitcoin at right around 115 by end of year. This catalyst I can almost guarantee will blow that number out of the water. Because
I was
here's
gonna
what's
say,
going
I
to
mean,
happen.
oh,
Here's what's
sorry.
going to happen. These cash reserves at these levels, that 1.5 billion, companies are going to be watching Tesla, right? And whoever else decides to join them early on this venture. And they're going to see, okay, the Fed is printing money like a goddamn machine. We have all these cash reserves, which we have to have, provided anything goes bad, we see new investment opportunities, et cetera, right? Our money is quite literally losing its value that we keep on the sidelines every single year by 3% right now. And a lot of people are estimating it's going to be more like 7 to 10% within the next like 5 years, right? So they are going to be losing 7 to 10% on billions of dollars. At least a lot of estimates think so. Or you could take a small amount of the capital that you're willing to risk, maybe 7 to 10%, the same amount that you think is going to go away anyway, and you put that into an asset that's rapidly rising in value. All of a sudden, your shares become more valuable, your company is doing better off, and it's just going to be this snowball effect where as soon as they see Tesla's cash balance growing astronomically because of this investment, everybody's going to want a piece. And there's already talks today about Apple doing the same. And they have $198 billion cash right now. 1% of that is already above Elon Musk's investment with Tesla. That's $1.98 billion in Bitcoin if they decide to put just 1%, risk 1%. Say they risk just the inflation amount next year, 3%, we're talking damn near $6 billion into this asset. That's mind-boggling numbers.
And what's funny is that for regular, plebes like us, everybody, people are really obviously coming around to crypto in general, right? It's very obvious, but there are plenty of holdouts. I'm in a Discord that you're familiar with that is composed of very highly refined traders, and I'm in this Discord all day. There are people in this Discord who are anti-crypto, who don't trust it, and I'm like, guys, you understand technology. You guys are amazing at technology, economics. Like, you guys understand how this stuff works. And there are people who still don't believe it. But every time, the thing that's going to help them believe is backing, right? And when we started at the beginning of this podcast, is that, we first of all, you start out with major institutions. You have to ask yourself, who's going to make me believe? Who has the money to put into this thing to the point where I'm going to believe? Institutions are number one, and we already got them on board, right? Who else has tons of money? Corporations, companies.
It's the big
and
two.
Now, and Elon just poked a hole in the dam.
Yep.
And at this point, it's just a matter of time. And that means it's going to spread. It's going to spread absolutely outward to full society. Because when they see their favorite, when they see, gosh, I don't know. I mean, when they see a trusted company, I don't know, Johnson & Johnson, adding this to their portfolio, they go, wow, Johnson & Johnson, wow.
That's a conservative company. Why am I not in this
and,
asset?
Right. I'm an old, I'm a stale old conservative piece of crap. But if Johnson invest, maybe I should.
I'm telling you, dude.
Here, I mean, obviously we preach it every episode, but obviously the key is here for all of our listeners, and like, this is the beginning of the beginning.
We were talking before. We had our baseball analogy, right? It was first inning hasn't started. You're still buying your beer. You're still finding your seats. This is the first goddamn pitch. What Elon Musk just did started the fucking game. And
Yep,
I
that's right.
cannot.
He threw the pitch.
That's absolutely right. He was the celebrity,
Mhm.
right? It's actually a good analogy. He was the celebrity that
Yeah.
they all watched go out to the mound, take that ball, throw it, perfect dead center, right over the plate, play ball. It just has started, boys, girls, whoever's watching, Ray. This
Right.
this has just started, and we are going to see astronomical numbers coming out of this. It's going to melt minds.
This brings up an interesting second layer, Polly.
Yeah.
Now we've talked about this briefly before, and
Hmm.
we touch on it. We've touched on it every once in a while about the widening of the wealth gap. You know,
Yep.
and there's some interesting points. We've talked about a K-shaped recovery before, right?
Hmm.
And
Which is definitely played out.
it's yeah, absolutely, and
Yeah.
that's as a reminder, that's the theory that basically the rift between the haves and the have-nots, the asset holders and the non-asset holders, is going to get wider and wider as our economy continues to recover from Corona. Bitcoin, crypto, and Bitcoin introduces an interesting aspect to this because you know for the people in this country who are not asset minded, if you know what I mean,
Hmm.
like who don't think about I need to own assets if I want to build wealth
I
and
honestly,
generational
I
wealth and stuff like
honestly
that.
think it's,
Crypto
I
gets
honest,
there.
yeah, and I honestly think that mindset, uh, you're just talking about, I don't think it's even a mindset. I think it's purely not asset educated. I think it's a great disservice our education system does, like, to the
Yeah,
public sphere as a whole, right? Like, everybody in the public system, you never learn about these things. And as soon as you do, you're like, shit, that totally makes sense. I don't know one
yeah,
person who's like, assets aren't worth it.
right, right. Once you understand what they and it's a simple definition,
Yep.
right? But it's astonishing how many people don't know. And I've thought about this a lot before, actually. The common follow up is like, man, I can't believe they don't teach this in schools. I can, I can believe they don't teach it in schools because if I'm honest with myself, I mean, I was a good student,
Hmm.
but if I had to rewind back to high school, which is probably the best time to teach kids when
Yep.
they're at least a little bit more mature,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have like given enough of a shit. You know what I mean? Like in
Yeah.
high school, I was like, yeah, I'm going through the classes so I can learn the shit, so I can write down the test, I can do the SATs, and I can go to who cares, right? These are practical skills, practical knowledge. But I can't say for a certain, at least speaking personally, I can't with a certainty that it would hit home. But it should be taught. It's
I,
the absolute basics of life.
right. And I don't tell you what, Eric. Yes, there were a lot of things that you didn't give a shit about, but I guarantee if the class title was How to Become Rich, every
Easy.
every single person's ears would
Yeah.
perk up and immediately that class would be filled, right?
Yep.
It's not, and it's simply the truth. Every fantastically wealthy person you will ever meet does not have just cash sitting in a bank. They
No.
don't.
Nope. They have
I've
as
never
little
met
cash as
one.
possible. As
That's
little
right.
cash as possible.
That's absolutely right.
It's it's funny. I was on that same Discord. They were talking about
Yep.
this yesterday, and it's so funny to think about. There was a guy who asked, "Hey guys, do you think it would be a good idea to talk? I have whatever X amount of uninvested cash laying around. Do you think that I should toss it into one of Kathy Wood's ARC funds?" I piped up, and a few people piped up, and one guy immediately responded and said, "Well, yeah, because if you do that, you risk it going to zero." And I'm like, think about this for a second. You do risk it going to zero. But what's
Absolutely.
interesting about cash is that you actually guarantee it will degrade.
Just give it enough time.
No, I mean, people, money savvy people are aware of inflation at this point. But the
Mhm.
one interesting thing when you're comparing investments between holding cash and damn near anything else is cash may not go to zero quickly, but it is guaranteed to degrade. At
Yep.
least in the anything else bin, there's a chance that it'll go up. A likelihood.
Yeah. The only time when people ask, should I invest this or should I put this towards debt? Right? The only time I
Yeah.
say, hey, throw it towards that debt and don't invest this money is when it's a high interest, if it's like above 5 to 6%, right? Because that also is guaranteed rate of return as soon as you pay that off, because you're not losing
Mm-hmm.
that money at that six
Yep.
percent every year. But the importance of what you just said cannot be understated. Um, it's funny. It's funny we kind of dove down this road coming
I
from
know.
Tesla and
I
Bitcoin.
know.
But if you put 1% of your wealth into this thing because you saw it as a potential possibility, but you were interested in 2012, in 2013, in 2014, in 2015, in 2016, that 1% is still less than what you're losing in inflation. So why not risk it for the potential of 10,000xing your return?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
can't be too afraid to not make your future better. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's like saying, "Oh, college scares me because I know it's going to be hard, so I'm just not going to do it."
Yeah. But if you go,
But you
you
gotta.
at least you at least you at least have if you want to succeed, staying, I don't know, succeed. I know college doesn't mean success, but like in this analogy, if you want to succeed, right? You have two options: go to college or don't. If that's what's on your plate right now,
Right.
there's a guarantee. Okay, let's say this: you want to get a diploma because you think it's going to help you succeed. We'll put it that way. If you're
Right.
scared that college is going to be hard and you don't go, you are 100% guaranteed not to get a diploma. If you go to college, you have at least a 50% chance of getting it.
Yes. That's absolutely right.
Why not take the chance? You need
Yep.
that's the only way you're going to get it. And that's the same principle that applies here. Is that like if you want to build massive wealth, it is sure it's a gamble. Damn near everything in life is.
Yep. And this,
But
okay, so
yeah.
full circle, bringing this back to
Yep.
Musk. He is
Please.
going to be put in the history books. Obviously, everything he's done has been tremendous and like benefited humankind already, man.
Hmm.
And he'll be known for ever. He's going to have a huge legacy when it comes to just the human race and this general timestamp, right? The 2000s to the 2020 with PayPal all the way through Tesla, SpaceX, Boring Company, you name it. But this is going to be another stamp in his legacy because he
Yep.
started the inroads into making cryptocurrency a real thing that in 20 years everybody's going to be like, how did we not see that?
Yep.
And he's going to be the one that makes this legit.
Yep.
I cannot stress this enough, guys. This
Yeah.
is the first pitch. We've finally got to it, man. From the day that first fucking shovel went in the dirt, we've been waiting. We've been waiting
It's
for
true.
so long to watch our team play, and our team is finally just about right up at bat here, man. The game has started. I'm so pumped. I cannot stress it enough. This is going to be game changing for the crypto community, and this is going to change finance, period.
Hmm.
Finance will not be the same from this day forward.
It's absolutely true. I mean, man, even on that same topic, right? If we're talking of crypto, you know, also take. I was chatting with someone about this today. Take into consideration, banks have been legally authorized by the use. You know, that's not the writing on the wall that they're ready to transition. And because stablecoins are, I mean, Paulie, correct me if I'm wrong. Stablecoins
Mhm.
are essentially the perfect vehicle to transition between
That's
fiat
exactly
and
right.
crypto. Yeah.
Yep.
If the fact that they're being completely endorsed and authorized, if that's not obvious writing on the wall, then You're
And
facing the window.
and it's the perfect vehicle, like you said, because the Fed's going to be okay with it because they could still control it.
Yep.
It's tied to the US dollar. That means they could still print, right?
Right.
It might not be printing federal dollars in the future. It might be printing USDC, or it might still be printing federal dollars and just the USDC rises as the federal dollar does. But that doesn't matter because they still control that type of asset. And this is why I keep saying we're getting a Fed coin soon. It's not even a question in my mind because then they could do other aspects. They could control where you spend it because it's electronic. They could trace everything. Like there are very, very enticing things for our government to go into these stable coins. And as soon as this is mass adopted as well, that's going to just increase everybody's trust in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, in Litecoin, in all the altcoins. This I'm just excited, man.
I know.
This is crazy. I can't
Christmas for
I
Pauly.
can't stress this. Yes, damn right, it's Christmas. This is every Christmas I've been waiting for the past 5 years as I've been grinding out this fucking trading, man. My God.
Well,
On that note, I think this is a good place to end it, unless you have anything additional. All right,
it's a good
for
one.
our viewers, be excited, man. This is a celebration day. This is a day for the history books. First pitch, baby. If you like what you saw today, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, give it a share. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know where you think Bitcoin will be by the end of 2021, because I guarantee it'll be over 115. With that, Cash Furnace out, baby.
Cash Furnace out.
Peace.
See you guys.